Okay, hello. Welcome. This is the JRE Sports Show. I'm your host, Jeff Cook. Alongside with me is...
Richard Owens
and... Alrighty. Success in the NFL is one of the hardest things an athlete can come by. A transition from college to the professional level can either make or break you. Quarterbacks easily have the most pressure on them. Without a good or at least decent quarterback, a team will not be able to succeed on many levels. In today's segment, we're discussing different levels of success from the most recent years in regards to quarterbacks. We'll talk a little bit about Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, and of course Tom Brady. So, Evan, you looked at Johnny Manziel, okay? And why don't you give everybody who's listening kind of a little spiel on how well Johnny Manziel is doing. And also, I would like to know how his college career was and like where he was drafted. Can you give us a little bit about that?
To start off with his college career, he played 2 years as a freshman and sophomore quarterback for Texas A&M. Had fairly great seasons there in terms of statistics and stuff. His most notable accomplishment is when he won the Heisman Trophy in 2012, his freshman season. And he was also a runner-up in 2013. In terms of now his NFL career, he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 2014, the 22nd overall pick by the... Yes, I said Cleveland Browns. Sorry about that. Yeah, all right. So now he's off in a transition phase of starter to backup to starter. As we all know, he's a party guy. He has his off-field issues. You know, he gets
off the field issues, right?
Right. Recently, what I found out was the NFL was doing an investigation about an incident that he got into with his girlfriend on the highway somewhere in Cleveland. I can't remember the exact location now, but apparently, according to Manziel's girlfriend, he repeatedly hit her head at the car window and just...
This must be new. I've never heard of that.
It came out around November during this season, and that's why he's been demoted to third string. But recently, what I heard, he's back to starter again for Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers.
This is correct, yeah. So it's really weird to see somebody with so much off-the-field issues, such as Manziel, actually become and stay a person on the roster for the Cleveland Browns. You look at other quarterbacks all around the NFL who, if they mess up even once, they're a second string, and then you never hear of them again. They're gone. But clearly, the Browns organization, they don't really. It seems like they don't care on how their quarterbacks perform off the field, but on the field, I guess that's all that matters to them.
Let's look at the Cleveland Browns, for instance, since they're the team that picked Johnny. Their quarterback situation. Josh McCown, who was out for the season. I don't think it's a collarbone injury, but it's somewhere around there. Their quarterback that they just signed, Austin Davis, and then Johnny Manziel. Yeah. Out of those 3 quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns, the general Cleveland Brown fan will like to see Johnny Manziel play because he's portrayed as an exciting player.
He's Johnny Football.
Yeah, he's Johnny Football, but he also gets into trouble too, which is a headache for a lot of people in the organization. I mean, think about it. Cleveland has gone through over 20 quarterbacks since 1999. Keep that in mind. So many quarterbacks. It's unbelievable.
Richard, what do you have to say about
that? Well, before Evan gave us that little statistic, well, I didn't know the exact number. I didn't know that it was 20 quarterbacks since, what, 93?
99.
99. Well, I mean, ever since, before I was born, which was in 93, Cleveland hasn't had a solid quarterback. The closest that they came was Tim Couch in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he didn't pan out. I think he got injured, ended his career. So since, 20-some-odd years, the Cleveland Browns have not had a quarterback. So this is the closest thing, at least in their fantasies and their imaginations, that Cleveland has come to actually having a quarterback.
Absolutely.
But he's unproven.
Yeah, he definitely needs to step up, and he needs to become more mature. His college career undoubtedly was a great career, especially
2 years.
He had 2 years as a starter for college. But we need to look at where he is now, and it's really interesting for me to see somebody like Johnny Manziel in the NFL and still accepted by an organization, while somebody like Tim Tebow, who had great off-the-field stuff, is gone. And he even, okay, so let's just transition right to Tim Tebow.
Right.
Tim Tebow was great for the Florida Gators, okay? Everybody loved him. Tim Tebow started his sophomore year, and he actually, he did really well. He won a ton of awards when he was a junior, when he was a sophomore, and as a senior. And junior year was undoubtedly his best, with the most awards he got and the Heisman Award in his junior year.
Without a doubt.
So, and then he was drafted first round by the Denver Broncos. Denver looking for a great backup quarterback. And then they were able to start Tebow. Tebow, after 1 year of being in the NFL, being on the bench, all of a sudden starts and comes up. Go ahead.
I think that was when I can't remember his name, Kyle Owen.
Yeah.
In the 2010 or 2011,
Yeah,
he got injured. That's where Tebow was placed.
A lot of people believe that he was replaced because he was injured, but in reality, Kyle Owen actually didn't do what the upstairs wanted him to do. He didn't do great under different situations, especially when it came to clutch situations. Tim Tebow got the nod. He comes in, he gets a known for his fourth quarter or second half comebacks. And then he brings the Broncos in his first year as a starter to the playoffs where they meet the Patriots. The Patriots beat them by quite a few points.
They annihilated them.
And then all of a sudden we see Tebow being treated like he should have always been a backup. But he just took a team in his first year being a starter. No off-the-field issues, but he's traded. Traded to the Jets. The Jets, no idea what to do with him. Okay, he pitched there. He's listed as a tight end and a fullback, and he only played 1 or 2 games in a few situations as quarterback. He didn't do anything. It was interesting to see him go from a hero for some of Denver fans being like, "Wow, the season we thought we were going to lose, we actually made the playoffs. Sweet." To all of a sudden being demoted to a tight end fullback, which he thought he could do, because that's how the Jets came. And then he was gone. Tries out for the Eagles. Eagles say, "No, I want to get out of here." Tries out for the Patriots. "No, I want to get out of here." But he made it through their training camps. But on the very last day of roster spots is cut. But we see Johnny Manziel being able to be kept by the Cleveland Browns. I think it's more of a Cleveland Browns thing. But with what we're trying to see here is that the success that quarterbacks have had, it can be an up and down roller coaster. Johnny Manziel's still on the roller coaster, while Tim Tebow is now, a commentator and
yes,
exactly. So, but without a doubt, let's look at a quarterback that is just insane. And Richard, I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay.
This guy right here, Tom Brady, incredible. You got to tell us this college, a little bit of college. Tell us where he was drafted. It's going to blow people's minds when they hear this. And then I want you to tell me just a little bit about his success in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, before we all know him as Tom Terrific, Tom Brady was a Michigan quarterback, Wolverines, and he didn't even start his first 2 years. He was backup to Brian Griese, who was a future NFL quarterback, didn't do too great, of course. So Brian Griese leaves. Tom Brady sees a confidence counselor because he was kind of bummed. He's sitting on the bench. Hey, I want to play. So he goes and sees this confidence counselor, and ever since then he started every single game, I think, for the next 2 years of his college career. Having Drew Henson sit on the bench, who was a top-of-the-line prospect in football and baseball. Tom Brady went 20-5, I believe, in his next 2 seasons, somewhere around there for the Wolverines.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really good.
After not starting for them.
20-5. In 2 seasons?
In 2 seasons.
Wow.
Granted, he was never a Heisman winner. He was voted Conference Offensive Player of the Year, but no Heisman. He exited Michigan after winning the Orange Bowl, I believe, against Alabama, which was a come-from-behind win, and he goes into the NFL draft. And he was not scouted at all. He was not a touted prospect. He wasn't, oh, here's the next Peyton Manning, here's the next John Manziel, next Tim Tebow. Nobody knew. So he falls in the draft. And he falls, and he falls, and he falls. The New England Patriots decided to take Tom Brady at pick 199 in the 6th round.
It's pretty late.
Yep. Especially
when you're not prospecting at all.
6 other quarterbacks got drafted before Tom Brady. And the only one that ever amounted to anything, arguably, was Chad Pennington, who went to the Jets. Did you have something to say, Evan?
Well, I would like to say for the Patriots at that time, around 2000, they had a pretty decent quarterback in Drew Bledsoe, but, they went to one Super Bowl in 97 and got annihilated by the Green Bay Packers.
So they were looking for help.
They were looking for depth.
They needed somebody who could be there, and so they took a chance.
Yeah, they needed depth. They already had 3 quarterbacks on the roster before they drafted Tom Brady.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was going to be
So you don't see that now.
No.
You see 2.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Just do it.
He was going to be, the practice squad quarterback. And it was Bill Belichick's 2nd year in the league, I believe, when he drafted Tom Brady. So he was going to be a practice quarterback. But we all know Drew Bledsoe ended up getting injured and entered Tom Brady. And ever since then, Tom Brady has gone on to win 4 Super Bowls in 6 appearances. I believe he was 2-time NFL MVP, 6 AFC championship trophies. And, you just don't see those numbers anymore. Peyton Manning doesn't even have those numbers.
It's crazy.
And Peyton Manning's near the end of his career, and he's looking to be replaced by this Osweiler kid that no one's even heard of. He's giving the Broncos a good spark.
Well, it's interesting to see how quarterbacks who can be thought of as doing so well on the college level, winning awards, winning Heisman's, being prospected, given nicknames like Johnny Football or Tebow Time. And then you see somebody like Tom Brady, who is almost like an American dream type deal, where you go from somebody who has never looked at and then is given one chance and he excels like nobody else. It's crazy because what the point we're trying to make here is that the NFL, coming out of college, it can make or break you. Just like it did for Tim Tebow, he had a great career, and it's broken, he's down. Manziel, he's still in it, but it's not looking great right now. But he's the starter again, and he's got to make a huge impact. Tom Brady wants to play until he's what? Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But we see, Peyton Manning wanting to think about retirement now. He's not too much older than Tom.
He's only like 39 or...
Yeah, I think he's only a year older.
Peyton Manning was drafted in 98, Brady in 2000, so only 2 years older.
And it's crazy because Brady, it looks like people are saying he hasn't aged, okay? And Manning,
he doesn't.
It looks like...
He doesn't even look like Brady. Brady doesn't even look like he's aged. He looks the same as when he got drafted.
That's his wife helping him out with that, and what's going on. But seriously, if we look at... Do we honestly think Johnny Manziel is going to be a starter for any team in his career?
Nope.
Like an official back-to-back season starter?
Nope.
I keep hearing on ESPN that if Manziel is released, if he's a free agent this coming off season, that maybe the Dallas Cowboys can be looking to take him, which I think that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Jerry Jones has stated that he wanted to draft Manziel.
You know what? The Cowboys, I think, in my opinion, should just give Castle a start, like for a season. Not this on-off stuff that they've been doing. If Tony Romo, if they're not really going to believe in him, then you got to let Castle go somewhere else, and then you can draft. You can pick up Manziel as a backup and have Tony Romo try to do something.
I don't think it's a question that they don't believe in Tony Romo. It's just that Tony Romo hasn't proven.
He's always hurt.
He's proven in the regular season. He shows great stats. He can throw for 4,500 yards and 20 to 30 touchdowns in a season. But he hasn't proven himself in the postseason, and he can't stay healthy enough.
Yep. Only 2 wins. That's pretty sad.
This season without Romo.
Without him, yeah.
Yeah, they were undefeated. with Romo coming in and then Romo obviously losing the game when he broke his collarbone again, it's just not looking great for him. But wherever Manziel ends up going, we have to pay attention to how well he's going to do. Right now, with his off-the-field stuff, I know a lot of organizations are zero tolerance for playing around off the field. Right now, Dallas, I think, is the only organization besides the Browns who would take him because they let people like Hardy and other people mess around and say absolutely obnoxious things.
Isn't it funny how the teams that don't allow their players to fool around off the field, absolutely zero tolerance, isn't it funny that those are the teams that win?
I think those
the New York Yankees for baseball.
Yep.
You have the New England Patriots for football.
Mm-hmm.
You have the San Antonio Spurs for basketball, arguably.
You got to keep your head on the way.
Zero tolerance for off-the-field shenanigans equals winning.
It does. And
You have to hold yourself to a higher standard.
And Dallas not winning.
You need to hold yourself to a higher standard.
When I look at the Browns and the Cowboys, okay, I say the Browns, well, they're not a big market city or big market team. I thought this could be good for him when he got drafted. But then I look at Dallas. Dallas is going to be 10 times worse if he goes there because they're all about headlines. Jerry Jones he's out of touch. That's all I got to say. I can't stand him.
The reason why I think that Jerry Jones wants Manziel is because any publicity is good publicity. Whether you're in the newspaper for a good reason, whether you're in the newspaper for a bad reason, it still gets your brand of football out there. It gets your team name and your roster out there. Doesn't matter. I don't think he cares whether it's good or bad because clearly he doesn't care if it's bad. There's been bad things in the newspaper for years about the Dallas Cowboys.
One last question, and we're gonna end our show. It's been awesome. Tim Tebow, is he ever going to come back to the American Football League at all? Is he going to be back in the NFL?
I hope so.
I think he could excel.
It would be an extreme situation though, like a team like say Cleveland drops Manziel and they don't have any other quarterback,
Okay.
It would be a situation like that where it's a team that needs a quarterback desperately, and they don't care who.
Okay. Evan?
Well, I think there's a 50-50 chance, but it depends on the organization. I mean, I'm thinking like the Jacksonville Jaguars, for instance. So in Florida,
I think if he ever went there, he would have been phenomenal.
Right.
To stay in Florida and keep his fan base.
Look at Jacksonville. They got
Or Miami.
They're like one of those.
Right now they've got Bortles and you got Tannehill with Miami. Bortles is the closest to being gone besides Tannehill. Tannehill has been up and down. So
Yeah, he's been up and down,
if there's any chance of him, there's a small chance of him going to a Florida team. But I agree.
Maybe even
It definitely depends on who, what division, what team, and which organization would like to actually play with a quarterback who is pretty responsible off the field.
If I had a choice between Tim Tebow or Manziel, I'd take Tebow any day of the week. Because at least Tebow has his head on straight, and he puts his best time into the game. Where Manziel, he acts like a college kid again.
Even when Tebow lost, you didn't see him pouting or shaking his head. But Manziel, it's like he can't. It's like he's a bobblehead. He can't stop shaking
With
his head.
Tebow, he always has a positive attitude. You always see him smiling. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that's going to get angry or vicious at anybody or at the media.
If not a player, I would not be surprised to see Tim Tebow in a coaching role. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a coaching role.
Because the old saying goes, it's not always the best players that make the best coaches. Maybe those that weren't so great make good coaches, or something like that.
We'll have to see where all these quarterbacks end up. We'll have to see how old Tom gets before he actually decides to stop playing. I think he'll go till he's 100.
I have grandkids by that time.
With Tom Brady, I think he's had the biggest. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, but he's had the biggest impact on this league. Since he was picked 6th round, ever since then, all the teams are looking to find, okay, who's this guy we might think is the next Tom Brady? Well, I'll take the 98 draft, for instance, where it came down to 2 quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Roy Leaf. 50% said Manning, 50% said Leaf. But the reason why Indianapolis Colts picked Manning is because he had his, he was straightforward. You know what you're going to get with him. Where Leaf, well, we all know.
Nobody even knows who Leaf is.
He's in jail.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's all we have for our show. This is the JRE Sports Show, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So, thank you for listening, and tune in next time.